Yeah. Um, so, uh, hope you were able to practice and so yesterday we covered select statement. We have seen different forms of select statement, right? And the order in which the clauses are executed, right? Within select statement, you can have number of clauses from where to by having order by. So the order in which these clauses execute, we have seen. We try to understand how to deconstruct the select statement, right? So we have to get a particular query, um, how to understand the query simply. So it's always better to think from the SQL engine perspective, not in a sequential manner. Like so, start with from and then go as per the order. It will be very easy to understand. So try to start thinking like and understanding from the SQL engine perspective how it works. So today, what we'll do, we'll cover joins and subqueries. Okay. So joins and subqueries are also like very frequently used type of queries. So most of the time, when you are fetching the data, you have to combine the data from multiple tables and then run some conditions, apply some conditions, filtering and all, column filtering, record filtering, different types of other conditions, and then retrieve the data most of the time. So yeah, it won't be like a single fetch operation from your one table, right? So joins are basically like related to select statement only. But coming to subqueries, we can also use it with update, insert, and delete type of statements. As well. So we'll see those combinations as well. Okay? So first, coming to joins, uh, there are primarily like four types of joins. Okay? So join means like you are joining more than one table, right? So in your college, school, etc., you might have come across Cartesian product, right? Cross join or Cartesian product, cross join or Cartesian product. Right? So if you have set A and set A has let us say 1, 2, 3, and set B has other elements like A, B, A, B, C. So what exactly do we mean by Cartesian product? If I say A cross B, that means I'll get 3 into 3 combinations, right? So one with A, one with B, one with C, two with A, two with B, two with C, three with A, three with B, three with C. That means 9 total, 9 combinations. Okay. So think of it as from the tables perspective, right? So for example, if you have 3 records in A and 3 records in B, when I say A cross B, that means I'll get 9 records in my join result, right? So yeah, I mean, always think from the sets perspective. So sets and tables are almost similar. Okay. So when we say so there are basically like four types of joins. So when you just say inner join, so let us see what about that. So what I'm doing here is I am creating a schema by name HR. That means there is already a default schema. I'm creating a new schema, and then I'm creating a table within that, right? Candidates, let us say, and what I'm adding two columns to it, like ID, which is also a primary key, and which is also an identity column. That means it will start with one and it will keep on incrementing by one. Okay. And I'm also adding one more column by name, full name. Have this wrapper, the data table wrapper, and which is not null. So I compulsorily every record should have full name. And I'm also creating one more table, HR.employees, where I have one column ID again, same int, primary key, and identity. Okay, and I have full name, varchar, so it has also got same column names, right? So next, what I'm doing is I'm inserting into this table some values, right? So as it is, as ID is identity column, I need not insert ID. So I can insert only other columns, right? So that's why I'm mentioning only full name. So inserting into this table and only column name value, full name column values, and I'm inserting multiple values. Okay, John Doe and blah blah, the different names actually. I'm doing the same thing with employees table. So these are candidates. These are also like employees. So John Doe, Jane Doe, and the other things and all, right? Then what I'm doing here is I'm trying to simulate the joins here. Okay, so let us do that. So let us do this on our test database. I lost the connection. Let me select our test DB. Try to use test DB. Oh, connection is lost. Okay. So what I'm doing, so let me execute these statements, okay, at once. So up to here, I'm trying to execute all the statements in my test DB. So test DB is already selected. I'm selecting all the statements and saying execute. Okay. So all statements has run correctly. So if I go into test DB and refresh, right, so I should be able to see the tables. So candidates table is there, employees table. So I've created a new schema which is different from my default schema. Okay. Now coming to inner join. What exactly is inner join? Right. So when you are joining two tables based on a column based on a column, one column from first table and another column from second table, and the condition is equal to, right? So that means C cross E, that means candidates cross employees, based on the condition that employees dot full name equal to candidates dot full name. So first what it will do, it will execute from before on, it will execute from, that means it will combine all the records from candidates with all the records from employees. That means in my candidates table, how many records I have? 4. In my employees table, how many records I have? 4. So before applying on condition, it will have 4 into 4, 16 records in your temporary result set that will not be yet shown to the user. Okay. So I mean, always try to understand what is happening behind the scenes, right? Then the condition is applied. So what is an inner join? Inner join means two tables uh, joined based on their respective columns, and the condition is equal to, right? And and also like you are not, you are applying, and only the records which satisfy this condition are shown to the user or shown in the end result set. Okay, so records which do not match this condition, So it can be other conditions as well, right? I mean, greater than or equal to, less than or equal, whatever it is, right? So if the records do not match the condition, that means the records will not be shown in the end result. That is inner join. You are not considering. So, for example, if you take this example, right, E dot full name equal to C dot full name. That means out of the 16 Cartesian product records you got, how many records will satisfy this condition? John Doe will satisfy. Jane Doe will not satisfy. It will be dropped immediately when the condition is applied. Okay. Similarly, like John Doe, other combinations will not satisfy. Okay. So Lily Bush will not satisfy with any of these records, right? It will be dropped. All the 4 records of this combination will be dropped. Same thing with the next value. Okay. And coming to the next one, it will be satisfied with only one record. Only with that record will be selected. So from this Cartesian product, apply this condition and select what columns you want. Okay. So we talked about alias names, right? So here what we are doing is instead of putting as, you can also have direct alias name. Okay. So let us put this as here as, right? So c dot id, you are selecting c dot id. Why you are saying c dot id? Because there are 2 tables and you have already mentioned alias for your tables, right? You have already mentioned alias. So, and with this alias, you are selecting the column names. So c dot id you want, c dot full name you want, e dot id, e dot full name, all the 4 columns you want, but you are mentioning alias names here. So I can just say star, select star, but what will happen? It will say ID full name, ID full name. So it will be confusing for me to know which column belongs to which table, right? So that's why I'm specifically mentioning the column names and giving aliases. Okay. So let us see it works. Right. Yeah. So we got only 2 records. Right. So John Doe matches, only that record is sent back in the website. Jane Doe matches, that record is sent back in the website. All the other, so if you talk about only inner join, only the join, basically the Cartesian product, 16 records are there, right? But only 2 records are written. So that is about inner join. Inner join is based on 2 columns in 2 different tables, which are of same data type, and you apply some condition, and whatever records do not match the condition, you don't return in your result set. That is your inner join. Okay. Yes. Any questions? So understanding joins is important, and the various types of joins is important for database. Okay. Any questions from anyone, Gayatri? Chandana? Okay. So I'm assuming like you're able to understand. So next comes left outer join. Okay. So in the join statement itself, there is some meaning hidden, right? Left outer join. That means whatever is to the left side of your joined tables. So what tables we are joining here? Candidates table, employees table, right? Let us say C and E, right? So what is at the left side of your join? C, right? Outer means even the records which are not matching this condition, but which are there in C, those also will be returned with null values as placeholders for columns in E. That means what we are returning, c dot id, c dot full name, e dot id, e dot full name. So if you apply this condition, e dot full name equal to c dot full name, you will get only 2 records. But how many other records are there in C? 2 more are there, right? So out of C, only John Doe, Jane Doe have matched, right? John Doe, Jane Doe. How many other records are there? Lily Bush is there, Peter Drucker is there. So even these records from C, the left side of the join chain, C, will be returned with null value. So it will not have any values for the corresponding column in E in the result. That is left outer join. Outer means it will return all the records of the left table with null values as placeholder, all the other records of left table with null values as placeholder for the right table columns. Okay, let us see how it goes. See what it has done. It has returned the records which are matching the condition from both tables. It has also returned the records in first table which are not matching the condition with null as placeholders for columns of the right table. Okay, so sometimes there can be some requirement like that, right? So you have to, so you can say like what is the use of left out. So for example, if you are doing some reporting, right? And let us say same thing, like you have an organization, you have some or there are some employees who are working as instructors in that organization, and there are some candidates who are attending the courses. So in one of the reports, you want to retrieve all the candidate names along with the candidate names who are actually currently assigned to some course and assigned to some instructors, right? So that way it will be easier for you. Otherwise, what will happen? You have to run 2 queries. One is similar to inner join, and again you have to run another query to get all the records of your C table, and then apply some logic to filter, do what stuff from the code, right? It will be like difficult for you to do it. So that's where like left outer join will be useful for you. Okay, so left outer join. So understanding these can get confusing actually. So left outer join, right outer join. So left outer join. Okay. Similarly, right outer join. That means in your join statement, whatever table is to the right side of your join statement, from that table, same as left outer join, but applied on the right table, right side of the table. That means from employees record, whatever is not matching this particular condition, even those records will be sent back in the result set with null as placeholder in the columns of first table. Okay, so in our case, what will happen? In the employees table, what records are matching? John Doe, Jane Doe are matching. Those will be returned along with actual values from table C. But even for these 2 records, result set will have corresponding records for these 2 values, but with null as placeholder for columns of C, right? So let's run this. Okay. You can also apply conditions. So let us first run the first query, right outer join. Here what you can see, like John Doe, Jane Doe, both are written, but the records from me which are not matching with any value in C, those are also written with null values because there is no match, right? So that is why it is saying like null for the columns of C. Okay. And what the second statement is doing, it is doing the same thing, but it is also applying a where condition on this particular result. That means Wherever it is null, that means you don't want to have records which are matching. You want to have only the records which are not matching from table E, right? So when you can put this condition c dot id is null, and you can get only those records. Okay? So where condition can also be applied on your join statements. Okay. So we have seen inner join, we have seen left outer join, we have seen right outer join. Okay. Now let us understand what is full join. Okay. So full join is, it will apply a condition. So it will do both left and right outer joins. Very interesting, right? So we have understood left outer join, right outer join. So full outer join will return. It's a combination of left outer join and right outer join. That means the records which are matching this condition, those will be returned. The records from left table which are not matching with null as placeholders, those will be returned in the result set. The records from right table which are not matching the condition with null as placeholders, those are also will be returned. Okay. So let us see. Yeah. So full join. That means records which are matching this record and this record, those are returned. Next, records from left table which are not matching with null as placeholders, those are returned. Records from right table which are not matching with null as placeholders, those are also returned. Full outer join. Okay. So understanding null value is also important. So null, as we discussed in one of the classes, null means nothing. So 0 cannot be treated as null. 0 is a value in database terms. Null is nothing. Even a blank string is not null. Null does not mean 0 or blank string. Null means nothing, undefined value. Okay. And when you are doing database programming, handling null values is also very important. So, for example, if you compare null value with any actual data type values, right? Like the actual literals, like 2 or 3 or something, it can return errors, unwanted errors, right? So handling null values is also very important. So next is same thing, like you are doing the same thing, but you are getting only the records which are not matching by applying this condition. Okay, where c dot id is null or e dot id is null. Okay. So selecting this, executing, so that will return all the unmatched records from both the tables. Okay. So this is about joins. Any questions? Somebody posted a message. Yeah. So as keyword, so Gayatri is asking, like you did not keep alias, right? So these are all aliases, Gayatri. So as is not mandatory, but for readability. So for example, if somebody else is reading your code, this is a legacy keyword actually. So you can either put as or directly say like the column name. So here I have put aliases. These are all aliases. Okay. This is an alias. This is an alias. If you see above, here we have put as. From left outer join onwards, we haven't reached as. Okay. So as is like it's optional. Okay. Yeah, but for readability, see for example, if I put as, it is more readable, right? So otherwise, like you don't know like where the actual column name is and where the alias is. So it's always better to use as, because others who are who are reading your code, they should understand it. Okay. Okay. Any other questions related to joins before we move on to subqueries? Yeah, you can always get back to us if there are any questions. So coming to subqueries. So what is the subquery? Query within a query, right? So most of, I mean, sometimes what will happen is like you want to apply some condition based on the result from some other table or some other query, right? So in those cases, subqueries are useful. Okay, not only, as we discussed, not only in select statements, subqueries can be used in update, delete, and insert statements. Okay, so subquery is, there is a query within your query. So first the subquery will execute. It will return the one or more results in its result set, right? It can be like one record or an aggregation like minimum, maximum, or some average, or it can also return multiple records. And based on the result set of your inner query, you want to apply some condition or do some filtering or use those record set for inserting records in some other table. So you can handle those result set in whatever you want, right? So that is what subquery is. Subquery is query within a query. So first the inner query will execute. It will return some result set, single scalar value or multiple records or multiple columns, whatever it is. Based on, you will use that result set in your outer query, right? And you will do some operations. That is subquery in plain terms. Okay. So coming to subqueries, basically there are three types of subqueries. Okay. Single row subqueries, multiple row subqueries, nested subqueries. Okay. So single row subqueries are subqueries where the inner query is returning one value. That can be one single column value in a particular record, or it can be an aggregation value like some average, max, or whatever, right? But the requirement is, if the inner query is returning only single value, scalar value, that means it's a single row subquery. Okay. So let us see an example of single row subquery. So let us say uh, there is an employees table. Already we created one, right? And again, what you're doing here, you have to deconstruct this particular statement. So always, when you're looking at a particular query, try to deconstruct it. Okay. So this is my outer query. Select, right? Select so and so column from employees where salary. Normally, what I will do, where I'll say where salary equal to some value, right? That is the normal type of query that I write. But what I have done here, I am saying where salary equal to, I am starting another query. So for this condition, I am trying to fetch a value from another query, saying like select min salary from employees. Okay. So what it will do, what the SQL engine will do, first it will execute the inner query. What is the inner query? Inner query is mentioned in parenthesis, right? So the parenthesis has started. So it will see, the SQL engine will see there is an inner query. First it will execute the inner query. So it will apply this aggregation value, minimum of salary column. Out of all the records of employees, it will return the minimum salary. And then my outer query will start executing. Okay. Then it will say from employees where salary equal to, you will put the placeholder which is written by my inner query, and then it will apply all this column filtering or other things, right? So from that condition and this, right? And we don't have all these columns in our employees table. So what we will do, we will use the uh, other adventure books, right? So AdventureWorks database. I'll go to this. I'll select suitable table. Right. So let me see. So my inner query is also running on same table. Outer query is also running on same table. It's not mandatory that it has to be same table. Okay, there can be different tables as well. It's not always mandatory. Just understand that first inner query will run. It will return the result. Then it will put the results in the placeholder, and then the outer query will run. Okay. So is there any integer column here? All these are in varchar, right? So let us say first let us check the records. Select star on your div. Checking this account code alternate and 1110. So what I'm doing is like I'm trying to apply this single rows of query on this. Okay. So I'm saying select star from this particular table. I want to apply a condition saying where account code where account code alternate key equal to I'm opening my subquery, right? Select min of same column value from same table. Okay. So let us deconstruct this. So when I say select min of this value from this table and execute, what is the value I'm getting? 1. So first it will execute this inner query and return 1. Then it will apply 1 in this condition where, okay. So whatever records are matching with this minimum value, it will return, not single record. So there is only one record which is matching the minimum value of this particular column. Okay. Yeah, you can do same thing like if you say sum, there won't be any record which is matching, right? Because when you're summing up based on a particular column value, definitely the overall value will be like unless all the other records have 0 value and only one record has that value, then the overall value will be always greater than individual values, right? So let us say average. There is any record exactly matching the average of this particular column. Nothing. Normally, won't be correct. So max, yeah, only one record is there. So my requirement was the business requirement. So you are doing a project, your team lead has come and told you, boss, I want to in this particular table, I want to know how many records are having the maximum value of this particular column. In this particular table, I want to know how many records match maximum value of, so maximum value can be there in multiple records, right? So for example, I have A1, B1 and C2, D2. So there are two records with maximum value, right? So it's not, it doesn't mean that only one record can be there. So your team lead is coming and saying, boss, I want to know the number of records which have maximum of this particular column value. How many records are there? So for example, there is a class of students or there is a group of people. Who are the eldest people? who are matching age 50, let us say, right? So that way, these queries will be useful for you. So first inner query, the value will be applied to that where condition, then outer query. Because single row subqueries means the subquery will return only single value. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, one more thing is like the single row subquery, that means the subquery need not be always used for only where statement. So we have seen having as well, right? So having is a condition applied to your group record, the record groups, right? So if you see this particular query, you deconstruct what is the order from, forget about the subquery for now. Okay, let us say some value is there, some literal value from 1 or something. Okay, so what is how do you deconstruct from group by having, right, and select, right? So I'm selecting some column names from this table. First I'm grouping all the records by this particular column value. So if this record has, if this particular column has 5 distinct values, there will be 5 groups created, right? And then I'm applying some condition on those groups. So only the groups which are satisfying this particular condition will be returned. The result set will be filtered. Then I'm applying column filtering, right? Now what I'm saying, instead of putting some literal value in the having condition, I am trying to retrieve a value, scalar value, using the subquery. So that is the meaning here. Okay. So let us try to do this on our actual table. Yeah. So from this, what I will do, first let me say select star from this particular table. Okay. And I will say group by this particular column, right? Without applying any having condition. I will just try to run and see how many groups are created. Okay, so I can't select star. What I'll do, like select this column itself. Okay, so I'm selecting this column itself from this particular table. So how many groups are there? 99 rows. That means 99 distinct values are there, right? 99 distinct values of this particular column. Now I want to apply some having condition. Having yeah, so having so I can have having condition on some other record as well. So it need not be the same. I mean, on some other column as well, right? It need not be the same column which is there in the group by. So what I'm saying is, um, in this particular table, I'm saying group by this, but having, but it has to be on an aggregation. So it cannot be on a single column value. It has to be if you are putting condition or selecting some other column based on, if you are putting condition based on some other column apart from the group by column, and if you are selecting some other column apart from the group by column, it has to be always aggregation of that particular column. Okay. So what is the other suitable this one, like uh, the column? So I can use this. So I can say having, for each of these groups which are grouped by this particular column value, I will say having sum of this particular column value greater than 10. Okay, I will also return some of this. I will also apply aggregation and return this for my understanding purposes. Now let us see how it works. So you are getting only 88 rows. So if you don't put that having condition, how many groups are there? 99 are there. Okay. So this is okay. Let us put some alias here. As so if you don't put an alias, you see like no column name. Okay. So let us say A. Okay. So if I don't put my having condition on the groups, how many groups it is returning? 99 groups. So 99 distinct values of this particular column. But if I put the having condition, which is on some other column, aggregation of some other column, and some literal is passed in the condition, that means it is returning only 88. So other 99 minus 88, 11 groups are not satisfying this particular condition in the having clause. Okay. Now coming to our actual task, instead of putting 10, what I will say? I will try to retrieve based on a subquery. So I will say select average, anything. It can be any other function or any other query. Okay, some other table also. So select average. It need not be the same table. Select average of this particular column because it is relevant to our case. I am putting the same table and same column. Okay. So select average of this from this particular table. So how to deconstruct this? First, my inner query, the subquery will run. It will return this average value. So in the place of literal value, it will return this and put it as a placeholder. Then remaining execution is same. Outer query is same. So that is how we have to understand. Subqueries, first inner query will run, return the values, value or values, then the outer query will run. So let us see what is the result set. So first let us run and let us see like average, what is the average? Okay. So what I'm trying to do, out of all the groups, I am trying to return only those groups which satisfy this condition. That means which are greater than the average of this particular column value. Okay. So yeah, this is the average value of this column, right? So if I don't put the condition, how many records are there? How many groups are there? So there are some groups which with more than the average value, 2300, 2200, right? So those records should be returned. Out of 99, how many groups are satisfying? Only 26 are satisfying my having condition. Only 26 groups are satisfying. Okay. So that is about single row subquery. Single row subquery means it will return single value. Okay. Then what are the other types? Multiple row subqueries, nested subquery. Okay. So let us see what are multiple rows. So just an opposite of single row. So the inner query will return multiple records. Okay. And for each of the records, wherever the condition is meeting, all those records will be returned from the outer query. Okay. So let us deconstruct that. Okay. So this is my inner query. So what it is saying, select department ID from employees where some condition. So what the department IDs which are meeting this condition will be returned. So it can be one or more. So it need not be always one. It can be one or more. Okay. So let us say it returned values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So 5, the inner query is returning 5 department IDs, right? So now from this table, we will come to the outer query. So from this table, for each of the records in this table, this condition will be applied. That means where department ID. So it will take each record from this table and it will apply this condition. That means where department ID is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, it will put in the end result set and apply this column filtering and all later actually. Okay, so if it is matching any of these values, it will be returned, right? So that is multi row or multiple row subqueries. That means inner query is returning multiple records, not just single record. Okay, okay. So we'll try to do it from this one on this table. Okay, so I'm saying select star from. So this can be star because I don't have group by, right? So whenever group by and having are there, there is a restriction on the values or columns that you can have in the selected. Okay, so select star from this particular table, right? Where some value say, yeah, where this particular column value equal to select again. So it need not be on the same table. Subquery need not be on the same table, but the column types should match. When you are putting this equal to or greater than or other conditions, the column, the data type of this column and this column should match. Okay, so anyway we are performing on the same column in the same table. Okay, so select that column from this table. Okay, let us just put enter and then condition. Okay, where the condition can be on some other column. It need not be the same column, right? So let us say, what are the distinct value types? Okay. Select distinct value type from So currency and units are the different distinct values, right? So where I am saying where value type equal to, it's a n-var char, that means a string. So we have to open up single quotes and put one of these values. Let us say units. And, units. I'll close my inner query. Right. So how to deconstruct? First, the inner query will run. Select how many values are there. There are multiple values. Null is there, 9500, 9500, 9500. Okay. So, and then the outer query will run. So this condition will be applied. So let us see what is the, yeah. See, that is what is saying. Subquery return more than one value. This is not permitted when the subquery follows equal to, right? So let us, so there is a small correction to be done. It is in actually. Then there are multiple values. It is not equal to. So when there are multiple values, you have to use in keyword. Okay. So where this particular column value is in one of these values. Okay. Yeah. So that is about multiple row subqueries. That means your inner query is returning multiple records, and for each of these records, you are applying some condition. Okay. And then comes the nested subqueries. So nested subqueries are more like it can be applied in insert, update, and other type of statements as well. Delete. Okay, not only just the select statements. So that means if you see this insert, okay, insert statement. Normally, how the insert statement will look like? We'll say insert into some table name, right? Table name and column names, blah blah, and dash, and then values, right? And then you will open and type your values, right? That is how normal insert statement will look like when you are inserting literal values. Literal values means you are inserting hard coded values, right? But if you see this insert statement, how to deconstruct this? Okay, first we'll look at the inner query. So inner query is select so and so column from so and so table where some condition is applied. Okay, so this is more useful. This is more user friendly. So select star from customers table. From customers table, select everything where this condition is meeting, right? So where ID in, and again one more query is there. Okay, subquery select ID from customers. So first subquery will return multiple values, and you are saying where ID in these values, select everything from customers and insert it into one more table, right? So there is another table and you are fetching all the records from this particular subquery, right? Nested query. So within this query you have another query which is a subquery, that is nested subqueries. Okay, subquery within a query. Okay, so main statement is this one, insert into this table. But how the what values are inserted, whatever is coming from this particular particular nested query, those values are inserted into this table. So how to deconstruct the nested subquery? First inner query, right? Select so and so from so and so table, and then the outer query. So both will be done, and when the whatever is resultant record set is there, that will be inserted into your table. All the data types and other things should match. Okay? So that is about nested subqueries. That means within some other type of query like insert, update, or delete, you are putting some subquery, single row subquery or multiple row subquery, whatever. Right? Same thing applies to update. Right. So normally how the update statement will look like? Update column name, set some update table name, set some column name equal to some value, right? So normally what I will do, salary into, set salary equal to that column value into 0.25, where some condition, where age equal to normally what I will do, where age equal to 10. Okay, but in this particular statement what I am doing is, I am, instead of putting some literal value in the where condition, I am trying to get the value from a subquery. Okay, so update table name, set this column name equal to some value. In the where condition, what I am doing, I am saying first executing this subquery, and it will return one or more records, and I am applying this in condition. Okay. When we want to retrieve all the columns, then we should use in keyword? No. See, retrieving columns is different, in keyword is different. So you should understand the difference. Okay? So when you use star is used in select clause, right? Select star, right? In is used in where clause. Both are different. Okay? So in has to be used in where condition when you are trying to compare one column value with multiple values, one or more values. It can be one or more values, right? So instead of this subquery, I can say where ID in 1, 2, 3, 4, or if it is like varchar type, where ID in some value like a blah blah. Okay, So it can be anything. So that is where in is used. In is more for where. In, and this in is not related to star. So it doesn't mean whenever you are saying in, you have to return star all columns. Okay. So it can be column 1, column 2 as well. You can filter the columns. Okay. You can say column 10. Only I want only column 10. Right. You can fairly do that. Okay. So we should not confuse between this one and this one. So always deconstruct using clauses. In is for where condition. In is a keyword for where conditions or having conditions, having clauses, or and star and any specific column name. It is for select. Okay. So after applying all these things, at the end, what will happen? Whatever results that you are getting, you are saying I want only these columns, or I want some aggregation of these columns, or I want star. Star means all the columns, right? So is it clear, Gayatri? Gayatri, can you confirm? Is it clear? Difference between star and in. Use equal to sign in place of in keyword in before queries. Yeah, that is because it is returning only single value, right? So where did I use? See, here I have used equal to because I am applying some aggregation function or some function on the column. I am sure that it is returning only one, it will always return one value. So when I say minimum of some column, which is a numerical type, it will always return one value. It won't return multiple values, right? So that's where I'm using equal to. But when I'm not sure about it, it may return one or more records. The inner query may return one or more records. Then I will use in. Okay. So hope it is clear. So yeah. So in star is for filtering, or star means return all the columns from the below result set. Okay. You can also apply column filtering. That means you want to have only particular columns. You can do that. In is for where conditions and having conditions basically. So wherever you see conditions, you can use in. So update we have seen like nested subquery. So update, what is the syntax of update? Update keyword, table name, set some column name equal to some value. So what I'm doing here, instead of in the where condition of my update statement, that means how to deconstruct, update this table, set salary equal to this one, where this condition is matching. That means in the where condition, instead of having some literal values, I'm using in and then having a subquery here. Okay, so that is how we can use subqueries in update statements. Similarly, in the delete statement, delete from this particular table where some condition is matching. So in the condition, I'm using my subquery. So subqueries, just understand, mostly used in the conditions. So where clause or having clause, right? That is where subqueries are used. So instead of putting literal values, I can fairly say in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or some matching values, data type values. Instead of that, what I am saying, I can fairly say this, right? But think about like large databases, right? So putting these literal values will be difficult, and these values keep on changing, right? So for example, if I put these literal values, I mean actual values, and somebody else changes the value, this is no more relevant. It will be. It is always good to avoid hard-coded values, right? So that is where subqueries are useful. Okay. So the last one is exists and not exists. We should understand exists and not exists column. Okay. I mean the clauses. So this is a when you say exists and use some subquery, that means it will run the subquery, and this exists and not exists is also used in where clauses. Okay. Yeah. So when you say exists, that means, so if you see this particular query, so I have an outer query and I have an inner query, right? And when I say exists, it will run my inner query, and if at all even one record is returned, one record or with one or more columns, even if it is getting one record, that means it will return a boolean value saying it exists. So that's what it means. It exists or not. So inner query, it will run, and if it is able to fetch at least one record, forget about columns, number of columns. If it is able to, it can be one or more columns, right? If it is able to fetch at least one record based on this condition or whatever I am doing in the inner query, it will return a boolean value saying yes, right? So that means it will apply that condition in my outer query. Okay. So if it is yes, it will select that particular record from my outer query. So that means, so let us see the inner query first. What it is doing, deconstruct the inner query. From this particular table with some alias name where this condition is meeting, two conditions and is there. So this entire condition is meeting. I'm selecting all the columns, right? And when I'm selecting all the columns, if it is returning, let us say, one or more records, this particular query, that means it will be true. The boolean value will be true. Boolean value of this where exists is true. That means where true, right? From this particular table, right? And this particular condition is satisfying for a particular record, then you're returning one or more columns. So always when you use exists, there will be a correlation between your outer table and inner table. Okay. So what is my inner table in the inner query? With alias, let us say B, right? What is my outer table? Person.person as A. So if you see the condition in the inner query, there is always you're comparing between columns of outer table with inner table. So when you use exists, that type of correlated subquery, that means there is a relationship between your inner table and outer table. So the conditioning or filtering is done based on a condition based on your inner and outer tables. So if you see the where condition, I'm saying A dot some column name equal to B dot some blah blah and A dot some column name equal to some literal value. Okay. So for each of the records in this particular outer query, it will apply this condition. It will check whether this condition is meeting, and it is that particular record is existing. That particular condition is meeting, and you are able to get the records back. Then it will execute the outer query for that particular record. Okay, so that is the purpose of exists. Yeah, slightly difficult to understand, but once you practice and all, it will be easy actually. Okay. Okay. So exists means whether exists or not, and it will return a boolean value, true, false. Okay. Same thing with not exists. Not exists means if there are no values, no records returned, it will return true. If there are any records returned, it will return false. Right? Opposite of exists. When you say exists, if there are any records, it will return true. If there are no records from the inner query, it will return false. Okay. So that is the purpose of exists and non-exists keywords used mainly in the where condition and correlated subquery. When you say correlated subquery, that means the conditions are applied between outer table and inner table, right? These are like correlated subqueries. So that completes joins and subqueries. Any questions? Any questions? Are you able to understand? Okay. Kathy is saying no. So refer the recording, refer the material, practice, write as many different types of queries as you can. Take a scenario, take this AdventureWorks database, look at the table, think about some use cases or problem statements, right? And try to write the queries. So what I'll do, I'll try to send you some problem statements, right? So imagine you are in a team, right? You are how many people? Okay. So let us say we are a team of 5 people, right? So I'll send some sample problem statements based on this AdventureWorks database, right? I'll just say in plain words, extract so and so data, okay? And let us see, we can work on those and try to practice. Any other questions before we sign off? Okay. Yeah, any questions? Please get back. Whatever more. Right? I'm stopping the recording.